Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am BorderWise and welcome back to From the Depths, Let's Build, where you might have noticed that we're not actually continuing off the last Let's Build video I did with the Flying Wing CRAM Bomber, and that's because, as it sometimes goes, I decided to scrap that build and start over with something a little bit more sensible and just something that works better. So here we are. We're starting from scratch with a CRAM bomber because reading the advice I got on the last Let's Build video, I kind of realized a number of things. One of which is I don't remember who said it, but somebody pointed out that the most effective CRAM bombers tend to be quite small, and having had that pointed out to me, I realized that there's actually, well, off the top of my head, there's only really one, like, proper CRAM bomber in the entire Nita campaign, and that is the Deepwater Guard Super Tweety, which spawns in with the Tortuga, which is a ship, and with the Barracuda, which is an airship. So I thought, that's actually the CRAM bomber which has given me the most trouble in the past. It's not a tremendously difficult little design because it's a Deepwater Guard craft. It's made of wood and is very flimsy. But I've basically, I went back and I checked how that's built, and I'm basically recreating it, bigger, faster, and meaner. So, as you can probably see on screen right now, I just placed a kind of prefab that I'd already made before of just the CRAM cannon setup. Very similar to how the Super Tweety has it, so it's just where the firing piece is in relation with the local weapon controller and the gauge increases and all that stuff. 2000mm CRAM in quite a small space, and then we're building it out from there. And just setting the accuracy right there. And the underside of this particular little CRAM bomber ends up being quite thick, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because I tend to find that because CRAM bombers need to fly in a somewhat stable way in order to drop their CRAM shells properly, they tend to get hit a lot more than bombers that tend to use other things, like particle cannons or smart bombs or stuff like that. So yeah, it's not a bad thing to armor up your CRAM bombers. It really ain't. So most of them, like, and this is like an example of, did I seriously just... Okay, no I didn't. For a second I thought I'd just put two 2-meter beams in a line, which is a golden opportunity for a 4-meter beam, and I would have cried. I would have thought to myself, Deacon's hell, BorderWise, why would you do that? And here I'm doing the time-honored tradition of just putting in surge protectors to act as like space filler, because whenever you have a wee gap or just a 1 meter gap somewhere, you can do a lot worse than put a surge protector in it, because they're just generally useful. They go there, and it's just helpful EMP defense, which is especially useful for something like this, which is reasonably small and mostly made out of alloy. So yeah, and much science is happening here. I actually, not to spoil anything for later in the video, but I quite liked the way this thing turned out. I believe it's one of the better little CRAM bombers I've made. Emphasis on little, because I really do not believe there's much point in making a large CRAM bomber, because at that point you might as well just make a large airship that's equipped with CRAM cannons, like with full turrets and everything. Because, well, what is the real point of just having a large thing that's easy to hit, flying directly over the top of something? Like, if we're talking bomber as in just kind of ground attack aircraft, I'd say the most scary thing that's similar to that, armed with CRAM cannons, was the old Onyx Watch Erie. So if you don't know what that is, the old Erie used to be quite evasive, used to bob up and down quite a lot, and was actually quite hard to hit even when it got close to you. And it had CRAM cannons and would just be firing down at an angle, which means it wouldn't miss that often. So yeah. But for regular, like, proper CRAM bombing, I'd say go small, because that seems to work quite a bit better. And if you're going to make a large bomber, just stick large missiles on it, or huge missiles, in fact. So yeah, that could work pretty darn well. So yeah, and so here you see I was feeling kind of lazy, and I just used the example prefab small custom jets because I really like small custom jets, and honestly the prefab does everything I really wanted to. And here we have the miracle that is air ducts. And this thing, actually, I kind of like the way this thing ends up looking. It looks quite distinct. It doesn't look much like... it certainly doesn't look like a real-life aircraft. It looks like a freaky UFO with too many eyes. But, yeah. It's quite interesting. Also, a note on the stone I put around the AI compartment. I know that stone is technically not EMP-proof, but it does reduce EMP damage by a fair bit. And in particular, the suicide nuke craft that I have, the Tuziatek. And if you go watch my nuclear submarine Let's Build, you'll see more of that. Yeah, I've updated that, and it is mostly made of stone now, for two reasons. Well, mainly it's just so it's still cheap while having almost neutral buoyancy, because the thing's got ion engines. And so it can double as an ICBM and a torpedo, or intercontinental ballistic torpedo. I have no idea if that's a real thing. I do think nuclear torpedoes were at the very least experimented with, or just concepts were drawn up for that in real life. I'm not sure if any were ever built, simply because that's kind of overkill. Like, a regular big torpedo is plenty enough to sink a warship. You don't really need to stick nuclear warheads on it, I don't think. But yeah, so, getting beside the point, and... yeah, this bomber... yeah, what can you say about this? The ducts are absolutely amazing, and I love them. And it's interesting kind of having to space out how everything works here. It actually ends up having quite a few layers of alloy on it. It's a reasonably tough little thing, apart from the glaring weak points it has. And what are you thinking, BorderWise? I should mention as well that, unlike what I usually do, whenever I record these Let's Builds, I usually record the footage and commentate on them, on the same day, and I haven't done that this time. So I've recorded this footage, and now it's a day later, so I'm not quite remembering what I was thinking at the time as well as I could be. So sometimes there's a greater likelihood of me looking at past BorderWise here and thinking, dude, what are you doing? What is your plan? And then I realize it at probably roughly the same time that you do. So yeah, that's a thing, I guess. That's an interesting quirk of recording and looking back on your past self and thinking, oh, there's so many things I could have done. So many things I could have done. And one of the blessings of making a small craft as part of these Let's Builds is that you can almost completely complete the thing all in one go. And you don't have to... what's the word I'm looking for? You don't have to split it up into multiple videos and then kind of try and force yourself back into gear in time for the sequel. And you also don't have the temptation to work on the thing off camera and just end up finishing it by accident, which is a constant worry for me, because part of the fun of From the Depths is just watching the building process itself and just going through it and being like, what happens here? And making that noise a lot. So yeah, like small things are great. And I should mention, I might as well mention that I'm planning to one of the other things on the to-do list for Let's Builds is an aircraft carrier, well, a canoe-themed aircraft carrier. I don't remember who requested that, but it's been that was an idea, and I like that idea because aircraft carriers are one of those things in From the Depths I've never really gotten into. I just keep forgetting that they're a thing. But yeah, I want to have another go at them. I have built them before, not very good, ages and ages ago. I do know how to build them roughly, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Because, well, basically, like, really, in terms of From the Depths, it's like you just take a ship with a roughly flat deck and you stick a whole bunch of, what do we call it? Like, tractor beams slash blueprint spawners underneath the deck, and away you go. And it doesn't have to be super pretty, but we're gonna have to try and make it a little bit pretty, because otherwise, where's the fun in that? And what are you doing, BorderWise? Alright, he's remembering that you need roll control for this thing. And it's always, whenever I make a flying thing like this, it's a matter of remembering which AI behavior is actually the good one, because there's a good plane behavior, and there is a not-so-good plane behavior, and I never remember which one is which. There's airplane and plane, and one of them is terrible, but the other one is absolutely fan-dabby-dozy. I think it's the airplane movement one? Well, we'll see later in the video, and if I remember, I'll call it out when I see it. I might not call it out. I might forget to do that. Okay. It's already warm in here, hence the yawning. This is tremendously exciting, I promise you. So, yeah, what is going on here? Alright, so we're just armoring up the back of it, and oh, Kalukale vertical beams, we've managed to make them, and we've got most of the hull of this thing done. Have to do the top though, of course. And not super well armored on the jets, but that's okay. This thing doesn't need to be well armored, it's going to be dodgy as hell. It's going to be as dodgy as a person who's very dodgy, like used car salesman levels of dodgy. And incidentally, that reminds me, is like, I've still got the Mega Slopes Pack mod enabled. And, oh yeah, the From the Depths decides to really take its time saving this thing. And, yeah, I just kind of forgot to use it. I forgot it was an option, because this is a build that didn't really need it. This little bomber is so small, it doesn't really need things like 8-meter beams or something like that, so it didn't really feel justified doing it, although I might use that mod in other Let's Builds. Like, no real harm in doing that. Just means that I'll have to remember, if I stick the result on the Steam Workshop, I'll have to mention, this requires mods, guys. Because otherwise people will happily download it, and then the thing will fall apart in front of them and be like, what gives? What have I done wrong? And there's no need to worry, people. If that happens, you will have done absolutely nothing wrong. It'll be my whoopsies. My whoopsie for failing to tell you something important. As in, you need the mod. So yeah, and now we've got a nice pointy front on this thing, and that's very nice. And then we've got, then we extend the ducts out. And I actually had a plan for this from the very beginning, because yes, that looks rather weird. But thankfully ducts don't have a huge amount of drag on them, I don't think, so that's very convenient. Rounded ducts would actually be pretty cool. So it's like, instead of being square-shaped, they're just a round, like a pole. That would be pretty groovy. I would like that, but, you know, yeah, can't have everything. And yeah, all the pitch is going towards the front, because whenever I build things like this, I tend to find that they tend to get hit in the tail most of all. So I don't know why that is, but they kind of do. So yeah, it's like this thing is mostly coming together. It's like structure-wise, it's mostly done. It's just little bits here and there, just to make it look all pretty. And I am hotboxing myself in my hot room right now. Hence the yawning. Ugh. Oh boy. You wouldn't think constructing a death machine could make you sleepy, but this is, quite frankly, I wonder if my own voice is lulling me to sleep. I have had people fall asleep during live streams before, which I take as a compliment, frankly, because people say that my voice is, like, kind of soothing, and yes, I am planning to do From the Depths themed ASMR video at some point. Probably sooner rather than later, simply because I've never done that before. It's going to be so much fun. I have no idea how to make a video like that, so I should probably just... You know what? Now that I'm saying it out loud, I should probably look up ahead of time just how ASMR channels, like, do their thing, because I would hate to make rookie mistakes. Like, well, I wouldn't hate to make rookie mistakes, but if I can avoid them, that would probably be a very good idea. And here I am a good boy, and I'm remembering the hot air balloons, which are the solution to many of life's problems, so long as those life problems are things like your aircraft is stuck in the water and needs to get into the sky where it belongs. And thank goodness for prefabs, prefabbing everything. So here's where, yep, I have picked the wrong behavior. Nope, there I picked the wrong behavior. Yep. It's always interesting, it's a gamble, because I always forget which one is the right one to use. So yeah. So here we've got a thing that's, yeah, like, I have no idea, like, what was going wrong here. I think I ended up changing, like, the behaviors in order to get this darn thing flying right, because it is certainly not flying right. So yeah, I think what do I end up doing here? I think I add more ailerons, and then I change the behaviors and realize that the ailerons are all you need. So, well, no, I mean, didn't need the ailerons at all, just needed to change the behaviors. And this is the part where everyone gets slightly sick, because I decided this is the perfect time to put a comfy chair on this thing when it's like spiraling out of control. So there we go. Spiraling out of control, as you do. And let's see what happens. And which do I do first? Yeah, I think I'd put the ailerons on, like extra ailerons. I should not be leaning back in my comfy chair. Should not be doing that. Oh God. BorderWise. The last few Let's Builds I've done, like, every time I've just been super sleepy. Alright, come on past BorderWise. Yeah. There you go. This is where you remember that that maneuver is crap, and you should go for the other one. There we go. That one works so much better, because that's the newer one. The older one is like the old style From the Depths plane AI. And this is also the point where I don't know why I do this. I think it's because I'm addicted to azipods when building ships now, but I forget to put, like, turning things on craft, and I always remember afterwards, like, oh, dang it. Ding dang daroo, I forgot to do that. So, yeah, this is where the magic happens. And, I just kind of slapped them on here without thinking too much about it. It's just, when you build a plane, and if you want it to even, like, unless it's completely unarmored, like, you really gotta cover the control surfaces, so that's, the ailerons, the things that control yaw and pitch, I forget the name of them, the airfoils, I guess you could call them. Yeah, so, I think, yeah, this is where I fix another one. Well, no, not yet. This is where I realized that combat AI is kind of jank as well. In fact, looking back on this, I end up slowing this thing down a lot, and I think it's because I stick munition warners over it and just kind of ruin the aerodynamics of it. But you know what? That's all worth it. Totally worth it! I did not sleep well last night. Never drink the magic berry juice too late in the day. Ruins your sleeping cycle. And this is... oh yeah, I was, I spawned the Marauder on, like, my team, because I spawned the Tortuga on my team just before recording this. So that's a classic whoopsie. It's just like, hang on, why aren't you flying towards the thing and dealing death? It's because, wrong team. Teams. So here we go, and this is where I learned that, yep, that's the wrong combat AI. Completely the wrong one. That's the one that flies towards a thing, flies away, flies towards. We want something to fly over the top of it. So that's not working too well. Like, I actually do manage to get this thing flying almost exactly the way I wanted to. Like, yeah, but not like this. That's not what we want at all. So, bombing run, no, get the hell out of here. We want aerial bombing, there we go. And I just muck around with some settings there, as you do. And I think this is where we finally get a good CRAM shot off. Wait for it. Yay! We missed, and this is the part where I remember, dude, you forgot to put the fuses on the CRAM cannon, you dope. Seriously, BorderWise, can't... Well, I forgot one of the fuses. So, low altitude, explode below 0, and that's okay. Might remove that, because you never know. Might be able to hurt submarines by doing that. Could be an anti-submarine bomber. That can work. Like the way CRAM bombers work, any submarine that's too close to the surface of the water, this thing could potentially hit them. You never know. You never know, man. And of course, the rest of this video, we're only about halfway through it, is essentially me just mucking about with various settings, various number settings. And I've just realized my new chair is starting to get as creaky as my old one, because my big fat bum is too much for it, apparently. Apparently. So, yeah. My goodness, so I'm gonna need to start planning out, what kind of ship I need to put this on. The kind of aircraft carrier, so to speak. Which is also going to be carrying nukes as well, because why not? Why not? Never miss an opportunity to make the Cold War hot. Please do not quote that out of context. So yeah, we've got it functioning, and getting in just before the people saying, you should use the bomb chute. No, I hate the bomb chute. The CRAM bomb chute has never ever worked for me. Like, it didn't work for Ireland Gaming back in the day when he was making CRAM bombers, and it hasn't worked for me either. I have not actually... I've seen very few examples of, like, CRAM bombers, or just CRAMcraft in general, which have managed to make the bomb chute, like, you know, worthwhile. Like, maybe I'm just looking in the wrong places, or I haven't looked enough, but really, it's just motorized barrels are the way to go. Bam! See? Good muzzle velocity, there you go. Blew a chunk off the Marauder's face. And what else is happening, I believe? Ah, yeah, this is where I think, you know what? Let's just have a wee bit of EMP on here. Not much, just enough, because, dang it, that reminds me, I need to do an updated CRAM cannon categories video. I've got the list of tutorials I have got to do for From the Depths is a little bit ridiculous, because there's a lot of things that need to be updated, as well as talked about, so that's one of them. But yeah, it's just, a CRAM cannon that has only one kind of pellet is a wee bit of a waste, simply because they do actually so much better, usually, when they've got more than one. The exception being something like Doomfrag, which is like, you can kind of do better. You can kind of, what was I saying? Oh yeah, you can use just pure frag or pure high explosive or something like that, and that can work fine, especially at higher packing. And, yeah, I'm talking about CRAM cannons. So, this is the part where I enact my evil plan to decorate this thing and make it pretty. And of course I do that while the Marauder is getting shot at. Why is the Marauder still in Christmas colors, by the way? It's like, we're in 2021 now. What is going on here? So, okay, this is where I decide Christmas is over and I delete the Marauder. Not the fun way either, just hitting the button. And decorations are interesting. And that lag, by the way, is, builder's caps, of course, is because of the Mega Slopes pack, because it adds, like, what was it? It's like 3,000 new blocks, and so that's enough to make From the Depths chug a little bit when looking things up. And of course you gotta get the size right, man. You gotta get the size exactly right. Should have just left it on just 10, because that looks weird BorderWise. I do come back and tweak that later. But yeah, it's like the end result is like, I am, once you finish watching the video and you see almost the complete version of this thing, yeah, I am open to name suggestions, as per usual. Because I don't know what to name this. Probably some kind of frog. Or toad. Or toad frog. Or frog toad. Kermit? Yeah, what's the scientific name for Kermit the Frog? Somebody tell me that, please. Because I know I'm gonna forget to Google that. I know my brain. I've known my brain for a long time now. My brain is selectively good at things. So yeah, I was like, interesting. Does it go there or does it go here? It does go there. Lovely, lovely. And not sure if you can hear that siren, but I swear that wasn't me. They're not coming... Oh, you probably definitely can hear that. I'm gonna look really dumb if you lot can't hear that siren. And already this thing looks better. And save it as the thingy. And it's going along at a fair lick. Yes it is, yes it is. Oh boy. And this is the part where I ruin the aerodynamics of this thing by sticking munition warners all over it. Because of course. Like, especially at the front. I probably don't need to put 2 of them at the front like this, but it felt right at the time. Yep, there we go. Yep, and yep. Yep, and you'll see the speed immediately drops by quite a lot. Quite a lot indeed. That is part of the problem with munition warners. And yep, so it's time for the missile decoy. See how this goes. And perhaps should have picked a different kind of whatchamacallit. Actually, nah, it's fine. I used the Corsair for this, just because IR missiles tend to go for jets quite a lot. So we're gonna do that. Then we're gonna do this. And my commentary is now officially on the same level as it would be if I was commentating while building. Because, man, I hate New Zealand summers. Actually, I hate summer in general. Unless, actually, yeah, I do. I've never been in, say, a Siberian summer or something. I've never been to Siberia. But I'm guessing summer isn't a super nice time there either. Although probably better than winter. Like, Siberian winter is infamous because it deep freezes mammoths for thousands of years. That's the level of that is the level of stuff that what the hell's going on here? I forgot what happened here. Something's not working. Oh yeah, that's what's not working. It's builder's caps again. It's the missile controller isn't actually attached to the launch pad, so bravo past me. Bravo. Everybody golf clap for past BorderWise. Yeah, so here I am naming it. Oh yes, no builder's caps, no builder's caps. The fact that I tend to build with the warning highlights off probably doesn't help, but I don't like having it on. It obscures things too much. Like, it obscures blocks to the point where I can't see what they are. So maybe I'm just blind as hell, but flares? Wrong flares. Nope, wrong one. You named the block wrong. You named it wrong. You named it wrong, you foolish fool. What have you done? What have you done? Wait, no. He named it right. What? I just zoned out for a second. Oh no, future BorderWise is derping. It's bad enough that past BorderWise does that. Future BorderWise isn't allowed to derp. That's bad. That's really bad. That does look cool though, the jets coming out of those decorated blocks. And yep, so now you're going to move that forward a little bit, just so it doesn't look so obviously like a square peg in a round hole. Yeah, there we go. Yes, queen. Yes, queen. Do. Not sure what that tune was. So anyway, a lot of the yeah, it's like, this is just basically, this has turned from let's build to let's combat test, or let's decorate. Imagine if I did a video that's just entirely just decorating something. I'm betting some people would still like that. Like, you never know. You never knew. So now we've done that, and we've made it pretty. Now we spawn the Corsair, and we see how the missiles do. I forget what changes here. I think the missiles are less of a problem than that APS, and yep, there goes the yaw control. And didn't fire the damn CRAM cannon, that's for sure. Yep, because if you stick your exposed fins on the back, they get shot off, because that is exactly what flak was originally designed for. So, let's see here. So, that's working just fine, apart from that. And the CRAM cannon misses, but that's okay, because they do tend to miss. And check it again, check it again, check it again, check it again. Yay! So something's working, something's not working. Yep. So this is the part where this is the part where BorderWise does the thing that he should have done before, and is hide the yaw control somewhere convenient. Yes, do it. Do it. I like how I delete those blocks only to immediately only to immediately put them straight back again. But yeah, that's yay, yaw has happened here. And my phone just bizzed. My phone went bizzed. Bravo, BorderWise, your commentary has now risen to the level of just saying what your phone is doing. Truly, you are a 21st century animal, living in the 2021. The 2021. There's only one, as far as I know. Actually, that's a fun thing to think about. It's just like every numbered year, as part of the calendar that we all generally use, it only comes around once. There was only one 2021. Yay! Bang. And that was a good shot, and is a sign that the CRAM bomber is CRAM bombing very nicely. Yay! And it can shrug off the odd hit on its bum, because alloy. Yay! Nice compact. This is actually weirdly similar to, what was it? I think it was, for those of you who remember Ireland Gaming, sorry to nostalgia trip you, he made a CRAM bomber that just looks and feels very similar to this, and he called it the Poodle. So yeah, history does repeat itself, and it just turns out that an effective CRAM bomber design, I think the Poodle was a bit bigger than this actually. I think, whatchamacallit? What the hell was I talking about? Wow, I just literally blanked on where I was going with that. If someone manages to find that thought, like, do let me know so I can come fetch it. Because, ye gods, that thought just escaped. Oh yeah, so, HEEMP, that's nice. And big enough boom. You really gotta go full gauge with the CRAM cannon on a CRAM bomber. Not really any point in having it smaller. And of course I lost me cockpit. Lost me cockpit. And that's bad. And there's, what's happening here? Ah, yes, the essential bits. Repair bots and repair tentacles. Always try and stick at least one repair bot and repair tentacle on all the craft you make. It just makes life way more convenient because it means they can repair themselves and they can repair each other. Which is super nice. And you just whiffed. Completely. Alrighty. Now what is past BorderWise doing? I think I was just, at this point, I was just pleased with how this thing was turning out. And so I just wanted to keep playing with it. So, yeah. Probably next Let's Build episode, this will be just done. And whatever I need to still do with it, I'll do off camera. But, yeah, next time it'll probably be the aircraft carrier that this thing spawns in on. Yay, hell of a shot. Hell of a shot. Well done, tiny bomber with no name. You see, I've been through the war zone on a bomber with no name. And that didn't match the rhyme scheme at all. If you know that song, well done. That's a good song. Alright, so more decorating time. I'm gonna do the classic, damn it, which was the... I'm trying to remember which craft it was where I first found the whole glass pole mimicked cockpit thing. Because damn, that was a game changer. That is the difference between my aircraft looking like just, you know, UFOs to IFOs, which is, or just unidentified. No, yeah, IFOs, identified flying aircraft. I was starting to think, like, wait, what's the F? an UFO stand for again? It stands for flying. As you do. As things do. Actually, I do want to... not sure if you noticed, but in the... just in the loading menu that has popped on the screen a few times, or rather in the exact folder I'm saving this CRAM bomber, what do you call it? It's like that you will probably see like something like orbital pack bomber or something like that, and I was trying to come up with just a all-round versatile thing for playing Nita on very hard, because those of you who watch my live streams will know that some time ago I tried to play the Nita campaign on the hardest difficulty, and it was a disaster. An embarrassing failure, because I was not prepared in any way, shape, or form. Thankfully, my sacrifice enabled, I think, other people to learn from my horrible mistakes, so I take some solace in that. Also, you'll notice I've just been lazy with the paint scheme and just gone like Camo Knight 1, because Bomber in black, can't go wrong with that, and now we're playing with the Plunderer, and just seeing how this goes. And it goes absolutely swimmingly, because we've already disabled one turret through a combination of Explodey and Zappy, which is to say HE and EMP. I've really got to use high explosive and EMP crams more often, because like it's too easy just to fall into the habit of just doomfrag all the time. And here's where I get impatient and I want more than one little fella trolling the Plunderer. And it's just like with my current Nita campaign, like, I actually don't think, alright, now don't fire. That, alright, it's because when you spawn things in, they've still got a pack. So that's embarrassing. And bang, bang. And you mostly missed. Bravo. So yes, like if something can take on a Plunderer, it's a pretty good start. Pretty good start. And the thing's quite cheap. It's like 20,000 materials, which in these days it is pretty cheap. So bang, and you missed. You missed, you fool. And the rest of this is just watching these bombers. I guess, actually no, I think something else happens. What happens here? Bang, perfect. Zappy, zappy. So even just 1,000 EMP damage, actually is quite helpful. It's a good secondary damage type, so because while the explosive probably won't reach through multiple layers of metal to destroy an important component, the EMP can do that just nicely. So that's nice. Don't go reverse, you stupid Plunderer. Wow, this thing is super basic once you peel apart. Okay. Damn. Major damage happened. Damage control. And I don't even remember what I was trying to do there. Probably something. What was I trying to do? I was thinking about... Oh yeah, I forgot that you kind of need an inter-vehicle transmitter for things like this to be really good. And so what I end up doing is I end up getting rid of the wireless... Oh wait, no. You gotta change the target prioritization. You gotta. You just gotta. But, whatchamacallit? Yeah, I'm not sure how good an idea is it to get rid of the wireless detector. I don't think it's that good an idea. But changing the aimpoint selection is definitely a good idea. Even though it's mostly pointless, that thing like only fires like once every 30 seconds or so, so... Yum yum. And of course, this is the point where I kind of forget that I do have extra room in here for improvements. I forget where it is, but... Yeah, I've got like all the surge protectors at the front. I forget that I can stick stuff in there. You damn fool. Hell, I could probably stick multiple AIs on this thing and it would work just fine. Just fine, it would work. Whee! Whee! Wow, I just zoned out for a second and I'm just swinging back and forth on my chair. And you can't hear it, because chair is so quiet. And that's because I'm just waiting for past BorderWise. Come on now. We get it. We get it. you wanna do that thing, whatever it was. I wasn't paying attention. Well, you think I watch my own videos even while I'm commentating on them? I don't even know. Alright, so now we're trolling a Kalmar. Because apparently I've decided that Kalmars are worth trolling. Jeez, few vehicles have had a makeover quite like the Kalmar, do have to say. And you missed. You whiffed. You whiffed it. Completely. Look at the underside of this thing. It actually reminds me of, like, for those of you who remember Star Wars, and I mean the good Star Wars, rather than all the other ones, you remember the airspeeders that showed up in, like, the second movie, The Empire Strikes Back, the airspeeders? That's what this thing kind of reminds me of. Maybe I should bomb walkers with this. And that's a good shot. It's so nice to see Max Gauge CRAMs just deleting bits of things piece by piece. Yay! So yeah, not a bad little CRAM bomber. I do have to say so myself. Do we have to? Well, I don't have to, but I choose to. I chose to open my mouth and do that. And guess what we're doing here is just checking that the thing... Actually, nope, didn't happen. Because F me, I guess. It's a tricky balance to make sure that the thing actually fires, you know, at exactly the right time to when it's, like, over the thing again. But, you know what? This turned out rather well. It turned out okay. Everything's gonna be alright. Bang? Come on. Yay, bang. Yay. That is really satisfying. Like, if you haven't built a CRAM bomber yet, I do advise trying to build one something like this. Because when it works, ye gods, it feels so nice. Feels so nice. Feels beautiful. Yeah. So, on that note, so thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see more videos like this, support me on Patreon or YouTube membership if you like. It really helps, and there's great perks for you there. And thank you to all my current supporters. And I will see you next time in From the Depths. Let's build aircraft carrier hype train. Choo choo. Farewell.